Good morning, everyone. I hereby, Ananya Sharma from BJMC, would like to welcome all the participants on behalf of KCC Institute of Legal and Higher Education. The topic of the competition is India and its culture, tolerance and universal acceptance. Before we start, I welcome our director, ma'am, Professor Dr. Bhavna Agarwal, who is among us to encourage all the participants. Good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning, Ananya. Good morning to all of you. First of all, I welcome all the participants joined us from various parts of the country at KCC Institute for this debate competition. With the quotation of Swami Vivekananda, I would like to start. I am proud to be belong a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and acceptance. We will believe not in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. With this, I wish all the participants a very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Sunita Singhal, ma'am, event coordinator who left no stone turned up to make this event successful, to kindly talk about the whole concept. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Ananya. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this competition. Our topic broadly covers the prevailing social perception of tolerance and acceptance in India. Tolerance is required in all aspects of life and individual mindset. It relates to how accepting and sensitive we are about one's beliefs, gender orientation, cultural preferences, and ideological preferences. The crux of tolerance is to accept an individual as they are, as long as their beliefs and principles don't pose a threat to an individual or a society as a whole. In this debate, we will analyze the points made for and against the motion that India, in general, is still following the culture of tolerance and universal acceptance or not. This debate is going to be very competitive as we have participants from different colleges to exhibit their exemplary oratory skills. As we had a wide age limit, our participants are from diverse set of students which are with having various experience and backgrounds. In this debate, we have candidates spanning across fields of journalism, hotel management, business management, insurance, along with engineering and medical sciences. We have got candidature from IIM Ranchi, Hansraj College, Lakshmi Bai College, Bhaskaracharya College of Applied Sciences, Uttar Pradesh University of Medical Science, Santosh Medical College, SBTU Kanpur, CVS, UPK SSV, ITS Mohan Nagar, Ajay Kumar Engineering College, Banarsi Das Chandiwala Institute of Hotel Management, Technia Institute, Dr. Akhilesh Das Gupta Institute of Management, KITE, KCC ITM, and KCC ILHG. I wish all the participants all the very best and expect that we will maintain the sanctity and decorum of this event. Wish you good luck, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving further, I would like to call my co-moderator, Mr. Devansh Pandey, to make us aware with the rules of the debate competition.
Good morning, everyone. I, Devansh Pandey from BJMC, welcome you all to the super competitive debate. Before I share the rules, let me introduce the judges of the event. In our judgment panel, we have CA Aditi Gupta ma'am and Dr. Sunita Singhal ma'am. Rules of the competition have been shared with you all on your mail IDs. Still, I repeat them once again for the convenience of everyone. Rules of the competition are: the medium for the debate shall be either Hindi or English. Participant must stick to one language and not switch between them. The participant should not incorporate any type of foul language within their material or presentation. The participant will be disqualified on such occurrence. Each participant will be given total 4 minutes to speak. One warning bell will be given after 3 minutes. Total 5 finalists will appear in the question and answer round. As it is an individual registration, instead of having a rebuttal session, only judges will be allowed to ask questions. Hope rules are clear to everyone. Now, I request CA Aditi Gupta ma'am to share parameters of judgment with participants.
Very good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank KCC Institute for giving me this opportunity of judging this wide event, which is held across India. As Devansh and Ananya, they have already given you a brief about the event, and Sunita ma'am has already given what the topic is about. I'm just telling you the parameters on which you would be evaluated. It is totally a score of 15, wherein we would take into consideration your presentation skills, your relevance of the content, and the conclusion made by you. So kindly make sure that when you speak, when you give your points about the topic, you take these 3 parameters into consideration. Based on this, I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to hear about it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I call upon the first participant of the event, Ms. Kavisha Gupta from Jawaharlal Nehru University. She is a student of BA Honours and will speak for the motion. Over to you, Ms. Kavisha. So, Ms. Kavisha, are you ready? Your time will start with a buzzer sound.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I am Kavisha Gupta, and today I am going to speak in favor of the topic India and Tolerance, India and its culture, tolerance and universal acceptance. Have you ever wondered why the King Ashok and Akbar are called the great kings? They were capable rulers, yes, but they also had courage to put aside their individual belief system and accept that of others. While Ashok denounced Bedi Ghosh in favor of Dhamma Ghosh, Akbar, on the other hand, established Deen-e-Ilahi, which merged positive elements of all religions that existed during his reign. This is perhaps the epitome of tolerance and universal acceptance. As Swami Vivekananda has also said, ours is a country that has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. India believes not in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. But what is India and its culture? Not merely a geographical entity, India is birthplace of the Indus Valley civilization, a former colony that fought tooth and nail for its freedom, an inspiration, and most important of all, a vision. Equally fascinating is India's culture, where people wear clothes as diverse as sari, jeans, dhoti, and trousers. People worship gods, plants, and animals alike. It is India and it is Indian culture that teaches its children to give equal respect to all scriptures, be it Guru Granth Sahib, Quran Sharif, or Gita. And it is only in India where Hindus and Muslims can be witnessed sitting together at an iftar party and exchanging gifts on Holi. In contrast to Europe, where the contemporary intellectuals are striving to foster respect, tolerance, and acceptance for all cultures, India has always respected and accepted multiculturalism. The tolerant and acceptive attitude of India has been proven in history, polity, ethics, and foreign relations. The people accepted Kanishk and Indo-Greek just as they accepted the Sultanate. The beacon of non-violence has been raised by the Buddha, Mahavir, and Gandhiji. In fact, Gandhiji has also said that if somebody slaps you on one cheek, put forward the other, symbolizing the tolerant attitude of our land. This very same nature is also proven by the fact that no crusade has ever taken place in India as they did in Europe, and from time immemorial, Indian civilization is alive to this day. Today as well, India continues to walk on path of tolerance and universal acceptance. For example, the deliberation on protest against the farm bills, a ratification of international conventions, scrapping of section 377 of the Indian Penal Code by the Supreme Court, the Panchashil envisaging the peaceful coexistence and presence of the word secularism in the constitution. All these examples serve to show the Indian culture of tolerance and acceptance. In conclusion, I would like to quote the words of renowned French scholar Romain Rolland. If there is one place on the face of earth where all the dreams of living men have found a home, from the earliest days when man began the dream of existence. It is India. Thank you.
So well spoken, Ms. Kavisha. So I would like to call our next participant, Mr. Preet Chaudhary from Hansraj College. He is a student of History Honors and will speak for the motion.
Good
So,
morning.
Mr. Preet
Audible?
Chaudhary, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just audible. Yeah, it's fine.
Yes. So your
Yeah, okay.
time will start with the buzzer sound.
Oh, fine. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. The Sanskrit shloka within it enshrines the core of the Indian philosophy and Indian values, which prays for the happiness and the healthiness of the world, every citizen of the world. India, Indian culture, Indian values, Indian traditions have always proclaimed the earth as their home, and we proudly say Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. We Indians have been always inward-looking and cosmopolitan due to our geographical diversity. We never faced the problem of space. We were endowed bountifully by the nature with resources ranging from fertile soil, perennial rivers, precious metals, strategic marine coast to everything. India is a home to multiple religions. We accept every way of living, being Jainism, Buddhism, Ajivikas, with no resistance or with little friction. On the west coast of India is the best example, where Jews, Arabs, and other people, where the Jews, Arabs, Christians, and others have been living even before they came to power in Delhi. It has been only possible due to the accepting nature of the Indian culture, which says Ekam Sat Vipra Bhuda Vadanti, which means that there is only one truth, and the wise people say it in different ways. The Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu, very truly underlines the two most noteworthy aspects of Indian culture are tolerance and universal acceptance. He quotes Swami Vivekananda, who says that ours is a country of tolerance and universal acceptance. India believes not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. We Indians accept every religion, praying in the mosque of the Mohammedans, worshipping before the fire of the Zoroastrians, and kneeling before the cross of the Christ, knowing that all the religion, from high Vedanta to Jain atheism, the simple tribal Sarna, will help humans to realize the infinite. This year, the Republic Day parade gave the correct example for the same. We had the glorious temples of Lepakshi, the glorious past of Hampi, followed by the simplicity of Arunachal and Sikkim. Indian culture has global outreach and acceptance. The best example of the same is yoga, the art which is being recognized and practiced on a global stage. Indian School of Medicine or Ayurveda is being taught and used worldwide. India gave the world the zero, decimal, Bodhaya and Sut, and other scientific innovations. The game of polo and badminton are Indian. The Indian greeting Namaste gained worldwide acceptance during this corona pandemic. India today is providing free vaccines to the country of Bhutan, which shows how loyal we are to our neighbors and to our true friends. Indian philosophy has a universal acceptance. An example of this is Mahatma Gandhi, whose ideology of ahimsa and non-violence not only freed India from the clutches of colonial rule, but also helped Nelson Mandela, the South African black leader, to free South Africa from the colonial rule as well as from the clutches of discrimination. India is the only country in the world with the large population of Parsis or the Iranis who came to India as refugees, and today they're living here so happily and they have prospered significantly in our country. And I also quote that what Israeli Prime Minister Shri Benjamin Netanyahu told when he assumed the office, that India is the only country in the world where Jews never had any persecution. We are the safest place, the safest heaven for the Jews in the world. But today it's so sad that cunningly and shrewdly people are saying intolerant. This word intolerant, asahishnuta, has been coined very cleverly by some people to defame India, to defame its glory as a political agenda against the ruling party. People are into so much politics that they forget that before politics come nation. And this nation is everything for us. I believe that my forementioned arguments clearly push forward my stand in favor of the motion. We Indians have inherited a treasure house of ideas, values, and attitudes. In a world that is filled with bitterness, different flavors, India could provide the honey of wisdom gathered from different different flowers by different bees. We Indians were tolerant, are tolerant, and will be tolerant. We Indians had a global outreach. We are having a global outreach. And future, I am sure that we will not be universally accepting, but we will be the world leader. And when I say world leader, it's not economic or superpower. We will be the world leader in spirituality. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Well spoken, Mr. Preet.
Thank you.
So I would like to call our
Devansh,
next.
just a minute. Aman Ray, if you find that
Yes, ma'am.
someone is just speaking even after 4 minutes, you can stop him
Yes.
by asking that your time is
Okay,
over
ma'am.
now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to call our next participant, Harshita Bhardwaj from Lakshmi Bai College. She is a student of BA and will speak for the motion. Ms.
Miss Harsh,
Harshita?
I think earlier she was here. You may call Miss Roma. She is in the meeting.
Okay, ma'am. So I would like to call our next participant, Ms. Roma Singh from IIM Ranchi. She is a student of MBA and will speak for the motion. Ms. Roma,
Yes.
are you comfortable?
Yeah, sure.
So your time will start with a buzzer sound.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So today I'm given the topic India and its culture, intolerance and universal acceptance. I couldn't think of a better day to speak about the same topic, the 30th January, that is our beloved Bapu's death anniversary. So his two main disciples, as we know, were truth and non-violence. But his third disciple was, many of us don't know, that was tolerance. What is tolerance, first of all? It refers to accepting others' beliefs, practices, cultures, rules, and everything, even if not expecting anything in return. If I would say that I'll accept you, if you'll accept me, that's not tolerance. Tolerance is accepting everyone without having any condition. So today in India, I think India is like a garden of flowers. We have so many different gardens. We have so many different flowers. So we have honey of best quality, and we can distribute it, we can share it with the world. Similarly, for the tolerance, I think tolerance is inbuilt within us. It's not that intolerance can be forced upon someone. You can't force someone to tolerate me. It's like a patronizing value that is inbuilt inside me. So I would like to tell you that for the past week, I have been researching on this topic, and the only thing that I came across was religion. Everyone tries to correlate this tolerance topic with religion, but I really don't understand why. For me, tolerance has so many meanings. For example, Marathas or maybe Gujaratis tolerating Punjabis, tolerating South Indians, these people are not tolerating, they are living together. Okay, so just telling that Hinduism is here in India along with Buddhism, along with Muslim, along with many other religions, I don't think that's actually tolerance. For me, tolerance is when one gender accepts others, when we accept transgenders. Do you believe that they accept us as we have it? We don't. That is not tolerance actually. So moving on, I think Swami Vivekananda, as one of my fellows said here, that he was the first one to actually make the world realize that India will rule the world in terms of ethics, in terms of we have so many good religions like Jainism and Buddhism that were actually originated from India only. So we are tolerant people. Have you ever thought why India was ruled for 200 years by Britishers, then by Mughal empires also, then also by Parsis and many other people? Is there any reason for that? Yes, I'll tell you. We are people that accept everyone. We don't doubt anyone's intentions. When they came to India, we accepted them as they were. We thought that yes, they have some good intentions with us. We accepted them, and today you can see that India has a population of 130 crores, and still India has a population of around 130 crores, and still we are 2.5 times smaller than Australia, and the population of Australia is just 25 million. Can you really imagine that Australia is just like a little bit higher population than Delhi? Seriously. So I think this only fact explains that how tolerant we are as a people, as a nation, in terms of religion, in terms of ethnicity, culture, and everything. Moving forward, I think there is a concept called xenophobia, if you must people are aware about. That is, we are not scared of foreign people as well. For example, if a foreigner came into my country, I'll be accepting him, I'll be treating him to my best, I'll be explaining like the whole India to him like in the best possible manner. That's who we are. Even saying
Miss
Kayan,
Roma, your time is over.
oh, I thought it was first process. I'm really sorry. Thanks a lot.
Well spoken, Miss Roma. So, moving further with our event, I would like to call our next participant, um, Miss Mr. Prasoon Gupta from KCC Institute of Legal and Higher Education. He is a student of BBA and will speak against the motion. Mr. Preet. Prasoon, sorry. Mr. Prasoon.
Hello.
So are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Your time will start with the buzzer sound, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
A very warm good morning to everyone over here. I am Prasoon Gupta and I am pursuing BBA at KCC Institute of Legal and Higher Education. Today, we are here for a debate on the topic India and its culture, tolerance and universal acceptability, and I will be speaking against the motion. The Indian culture, often labeled as the amalgamation of several various cultures, spans across the Indian subcontinent and has been influenced and shaped by a history that is several thousand years old. Throughout the history of India, Indian culture has been heavily influenced by Dhammic religions. Now, as I'm speaking against the motion, I'll begin with my first argument, that is, being independent. You see, as it is absolutely normal for a teen roughly above 18 to move out of his parents' house, get a small job, bear his own expenses, and live comfortably in a separate apartment in the Western culture. But here in the Indian culture, the parents would have a major heartbreak if the son leaves their house and settle down elsewhere. Even married couples are sometimes bound to live with their parents since it is considered as an act of breaking the household into two. Walking away with your wife, leaving your parents behind is a big drawback of our society. A couple hardly has its own space and privacy in this kind of setup, and this often leads to severe frustrations and fights in the family. But there is no escape, particularly for the daughter-in-law. How much you dislike your in-laws or how much they hate you, you will have to stay together. Now, let me move towards my next argument, that is the male dominance. In a patriarchal culture, men do not want to live on the earning of a woman. They feel they are not man enough to make the woman step out of the house and work. This culture still persists in the rural areas. Another thing can be following elders no matter what. This process hampers change as youngsters are not able to argue and rebel against the elders and their sexist, racist, and inhumane ideologies. Youngsters who dare to question and explain elders that their mentality is wrong are often considered as rebels and the society isolates them. Respecting elders should not be mixed with following elders blindly. Now, coming towards my next and another major argument, that is the lack of sex education. In India, parents don't even consider about sensitive topics like sex education to their children. This leads to a disconnect among the children and the parents. Children are not able to cope up with the changes in their body and they have no one to talk to when they need to. This leads to a lot of misinterpretation and the way of thinking among children. This is something which needs a lot of attention. In the end, I would like to summarize by saying that I am a citizen of my country and India is my motherland. But if there is a flaw in the Indian culture, that is a flaw and I am definitely against it. There are some things which should be adopted from the Indian culture as well. For example, the way of greeting and the hospitality, etc. On the other hand, there are things which should be avoided and they were discussed above. Thank you so much, everyone. This was me.
Well said, Mr. Prasoon. So I would like to call our next participant, Mr. Shoaib Khan from Uttar Pradesh University of Medical Science. He is a student of MBBS and will speak for the motion. Mr. Shoaib, are you ready?
Yes.
So your time will start with a buzzer sound.
Okay. सत्य सनातन धर्म वीर कड़कड़ में गौरव भर देंगे, पृथ्वी की क्या बात करो अंबर भी केसरिया कर देंगे। अध्यक्ष महोदय, वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता में उपस्थित मेरे सभी दोस्त, मैं मोहम्मद शुएब खान, उत्तर प्रदेश यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेडिकल साइंस से MBBS का छात्र और आज मैं दिए गए विषय के पक्ष में बोलूंगा। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मुझसे पहले बोल रहे विद्यार्थी ने अंग्रेजी शब्द के मकड़ जाल में सदन को कुछ इस प्रकार से भ्रमित किया कि किसी भी व्यक्ति के मन में भारत की एक ऐसी छवि बनेगी कि भारत में असहिष्णुता की ऊंची ऊंची दीवारें हैं, परंतु मान्यवर, मैं आपको एक 4 ऐसे उदाहरण देना चाहता हूं जिससे यह साफ हो जाएगा कि भारत में अपनाने की कितनी क्षमता है और भारत सहिष्णु है कि असहिष्णु है। भारत की प्राचीनतम सभ्यता से लेकर नवीनतम सभ्यता तक अब तक 4 बड़ी-बड़ी क्रांतियां हुई हैं। पहली क्रांति तब हुई जब आर्य भारत में आए और आर्यों ने अपने समाज, अपनी संस्कृति हमारे ऊपर थोपी, पर मेरे भारत में रह रहे आर्योत्तरों ने उनको नकारा नहीं, अपितु उनकी संस्कृति को अपना लिया और भारत की बुनियादी समाज एवं संस्कृति को उत्पन्न दिया। दूसरी क्रांति तब आई जब महात्मा बुद्ध एवं महावीर जैसे महापुरुष हमारी धरती में जन्मे और उन्होंने हमारी संस्कृति में व्याप्त बुराइयों को दूर किया और एक नई संस्कृति को हमारे ऊपर लाया। मेरे भारत ने महात्मा बुद्ध की बनाए गए नियमों को अपनाया, महावीर के दिए गए उपदेशों का भी पालन किया। तीसरी संस्कृति तब आई जब इस्लाम हमारे देश में आया और बड़ी क्रूरता से हमारे ऊपर धर्म को लादा गया, परंतु मेरा देश, मेरे देशवासियों ने उस वक्त भी इस नए धर्म को इतनी सहिष्णुता से ही अपना लिया और आज गंगा जमनी तहजीब जो हम देखते हैं ये उसी की ही देन है। और चौथी और आखिरी क्रांति तब आई जब यूरोपियन इस देश में आए और उन्होंने पश्चिमी सभ्यता को हमारे ऊपर लाद दिया, परंतु मेरे देश ने इतनी सहिष्णुता से फिर से उस सभ्यता, उस समाज को अपना लिया कि आज हम अपने समाज में देखेंगे कि पाश्चात्य संस्कृति का कितना बड़ा प्रभाव है। मान्यवर, मुझे बड़ा दुख होता है कि मेरे विपक्षी कितनी सहिष्णुता से बोल देते हैं कि भारत में असहिष्णुता है। उन्हें क्या नहीं पता है कि हम सहिष्णु हैं, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ 80% आबादी 20% आबादी के सामने हाथ जोड़कर 20 सालों तक मंदिर बनने का इंतजार करती है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पंडित और फकीर एक थाली में भोजन कर सकते हैं। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ किसी भी धर्म का, किसी भी जात का, किसी भी रीजन का व्यक्ति वोट दे सकता है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ APJ अब्दुल कलाम राष्ट्रपति बन सकता है, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह प्रधानमंत्री बन सकते हैं। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ मूल सुविधाओं का भोग हर व्यक्ति कर सकता है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ फ्रांस की तरीके देवी देवताओं के ऊपर बोलने पर किसी का गला काटकर रास्ते पर नहीं फेंका जाता है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि चीन की तरह सत्ता के खिलाफ आवाज उठाने पर हमारे यहाँ ट्रकों से रास्ते पर नहीं कुचल दिया जाता है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ अमेरिका की तरीके काले या गोरे के भेद पर दिन दहाड़े गोली नहीं मार दी जाती है। हम सहिष्णु हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ हाथ में तलवार लेके किसी का धर्म परिवर्तन नहीं कराया जाता है। मान्यवर, मुझे बड़ा दुख होता है कि आज नेता हमारे देश को असहिष्णु बोलते हैं। अरे सत्ता का खेल तो यूं ही चलता रहेगा, सरकारें आएंगी जाएंगी, पार्टियां बनेंगी बिगड़ेगी, परंतु मेरा भारत रहना चाहिए, उस ये देश रहना चाहिए, समाज रहना चाहिए, संस्कृति रहना चाहिए। और मैं अपनी बात को इस पंक्ति के साथ खत्म करना चाहूंगा कि हाथ में तलवार है, वाड़ी की भी धार है। हाथ में तलवार है, वाड़ी की भी धार है, पर फिर भी मन शांत है, क्योंकि मन में श्री राम के संस्कार हैं। जय श्री राम। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
वेरी गुड शोएब, यू स्पोकन वेरी वेल। बहुत अच्छे से अपनी बात को रखी आपने। एंड ऑडियंस, वी विल टेक अ ब्रेक फॉर 2 minutes ओवर हियर, ओनली फॉर 2 minutes.